Hello, I'm Mark.
I'm Casey.
And I'm Patrick.
And tonight we're going to talk a little bit about frustration in Sweden. But first, let's roll that title.
You're watching the Tesla Life Express. Clark.
Hey everyone, thanks so much for joining us. Here we are at Tesla Life Express, and tonight we've got a topic that we wanted to touch upon because we've mentioned this topic a few times in the past, and this has been about the unions in Sweden. And apparently they have had, I guess, some frustration with Tesla, even though they've been battling with them now for over a year. The union, of course, had put efforts in place to try to block Tesla's operation. And Tesla had responded, not in typical fashion, by just bowing down and giving up. But they've looked for ways to go around those roadblocks, and they found a number of them. In fact, they found...
typical for everybody else in Sweden, not for Tesla anywhere else.
Right. And what they found is that actually Tesla's had their most successful year in Sweden yet. And this is really put a bee in the bonnet of the union, and how their efforts to stall operations has resulted in Tesla's best year ever. So
that was not the plan.
That was not the plan at all. Yeah.
They should take credit for it and ask for a commission. Yeah.
So just a kind of a recap of the situation. Back on November 7th of last year, the transport union's sympathy strike had permitted the dock workers from loading or unloading Tesla cars at the dock, which is Sweden's most southern port. And instead of bowing to the pressure, Tesla found other ways. Their workaround was to bring in cars via ferry from Germany and occasionally from Poland.
Before you go too far, this was the first time I'd ever heard of the idea of a sympathy strike. To me, it makes sense if the workers at a plant are not happy with their pay or treatment or whatever, that they strike. And in Sweden, they take that to a whole new level. Like if one place, the union says this place isn't fair, all the other unions will then not service that spot.
Not all the other unions, but a good amount of them team up to push the pressure level even higher.
Yeah. So one of the
ones requested, it's the Swedish way. If you look that up, then it will make more sense slightly. If you're not familiar with how they do that. But even after that, if you're coming from anywhere outside of Sweden, the Swedish way might still confuse you. I have a quick question on that regarding.
I just thought that was a massage type. I don't know. The Swedish way.
The Swedish way regarding strikes and sympathy strikes.
I understand.
With other companies in the West, it could still be people in that company that aren't at that plant, but it wouldn't be like right now. IF Metal, at the very first, they asked all these other unions to do stuff, and a lot of them said yes. Would that work within the company at these other places, or is that still considered a kind of sympathy strike that we don't see outside of Sweden?
I would think that's not what we see outside of Sweden. Like, yes, there are other unions that can bring in other unions into a strike, and I've seen that in Canada,
like the Screen Actors Guild or something. But I mean, like, if the people who make the accelerator pedals for Ford are mad, would we also then see the engine block makers at Ford pull anything off, or
probably not?
Is that more like this if that were to happen?
Yeah, typically not. You would typically not see that.
Yeah, so one of the weird ones here was that part of their mail system, I guess, is privatized with union workers. And so there was a while where Tesla customers couldn't get their license plates because they were being delivered through the mail.
Yeah.
Which makes no sense.
And the whatever you call the DMV there, the proper name for it, was only allowed to use the contractor that won the bid.
Right.
Which was on sympathy strike. They sued to be able to allow you to pick them up at the bureau, and that had legs for a moment, and then the judges or appeals or whoever decided that, nah, we're going to let you do the Swedish way. And so they closed it back down, and then Tesla came up with some creative solutions.
Okay, yeah. So, Mark, I kind of derailed your story. I just wanted
Sorry,
to
go ahead. Yeah.
clarify that context before we got too far into
No,
it.
I appreciate that.
Yeah.
So today there are thousands of Tesla cars that still continue to arrive via Germany or other ports, avoiding the blockade that's in place. Yeah. And the vehicles, of course, are not having to use the dock workers who are part of this blockade or strike. And IF Metal and of course the Transportation Union, they're still trying further lines to maybe block ferry traffic, but of course they're unable to do that without affecting other maritime regulations. So the union is kind of backed out that they can't push this any further without affecting other trade that's not Tesla trade. So this is something that the union it sounds like they haven't been in this position before. It sounds like most people kind of give up. But
the other part of it is that if we haven't got there yet, but if we had more backing for this maneuver, then they wouldn't be afraid of disrupting the world. But what's going to happen now is if they disrupt stuff outside of Tesla, it will draw more attention to what's actually happening here. And they don't want that. And
right.
We're going to discuss it here. Yeah.
It's kind of this. Mark, you mentioned that this made it for Tesla's best year. I wonder if there's a Streisand effect going on.
Yes.
Okay, why are they trying to block these Teslas? Why are people buying these Teslas if there's this union block against them? They must be really good if people are willing to go around these picket lines to get it. Maybe I want one of those.
That very well could be the fact. Is you would wonder why this company's doing so well. And of course, the union spokesperson is like, he's saying this is terrible. We didn't want to have not a single Tesla come into the country in any way. And for Tesla to have a spectacular record-breaking year is something that they just can't understand. And it's something that is it's really gnawing at them that this has not been successful, and possibly, as Patrick has mentioned, maybe it's fueled some of the sales that people are looking at it and going, I really have to look into this, because why are people taking this this type of measure with a company that's trying to be blocked? There must be something going on here.
Yep. And then they find out about the story behind the blockage. And yeah, I'm going to buy this car anyway.
And there could be some of that too, is that people are looking at, were you really trying to do this to a company? Like they're not doing anything but selling cars, and out of a sympathy strike, we're trying to put them basically out of business. I'm going to put my money behind these guys because they're doing the right thing.
And the people that work there are happy and don't want to join the union. Right. Yeah.
So the Swedish way would definitely go that way of yes, let's run them out of business until they comply. But when you look at it, who are we complying with? Some folks who are double dipping, according to either the Tesla or the union or both. A bunch of folks who aren't involved in this, according to Tesla and the clubs and the people who are on the ground reporting on this. And then the union says otherwise, but at the same time, sounds like they're getting scammed. Or lying to us, one or the other. and my favorite part of all this is when they asked IG Metal to do this, and IG Metal said, "Nah, we can't do that. We've got our own problem, and if we participate in this, it will not aid our cause."
So this is IF Metal, right?
IF Metal of Sweden versus IG Metal of Germany.
Okay, yeah. So I guess we figured out what IF stands for. It's increasingly frustrated, incredibly furious.
So going forward, we're a year into this dispute. They've tried to escalate it on their end to bringing other unions into it and to try to put up more and more roadblocks. I'm real curious as to what's going to transpire over this coming year. Is like, I wonder if there's been any historic, possibility that they give up. Does the union have they ever given up? Or have they always just gotten their way, and this is something that they've never run into previously? Or have there been some other disputes that have taken years? It'll be interesting to see what kind of steps they take going forward in 2025.
Yeah, from my understanding, doing the research I was doing on it, this is unprecedented. Doesn't mean that I'm right and that it is unprecedented. It might be just the second time this has ever happened, and that's assuming that what they were presenting to the public was 100%. And like, say you've got 200 people, and the company's just not letting 200 people do what they have requested. They're not giving them sick pay. They're not paying them correctly. They're making them work at squalor. Although all of this may be true now is because of the actions of IF Metals. They canceled the janitorial service. They canceled the postal. But besides all of that, it's been quite interesting to watch. And I don't know that anything like this has ever happened before. Typically, it is a situation like, oh, they're crossing picket lines, or see, they don't care about their workers. Why would we buy their furniture? Why would we buy their cars? Blah, blah, blah. And then they cave. But this isn't that.
Yeah. So it'll be something that we will certainly keep our eye on. If you're in that neck of the woods, or if you know the inside story, put a comment in the field below and let us know. Anders, if you're out there watching, what's your spin on this now that we're a year into it? What do you think is going to be happening over the next year? Do you see this as an unprecedented event that the union's dealing with that they've never had to deal with? Or is this something that's common in that area? I'd like to hear from you out there if you've got knowledge about this. Let us know. Put it in the comments. Yeah. And with that,
also,
go ahead.
If we've spoken on this before in the past, we would like an update on what you've noticed from being closer to the source.
Yeah, so if Tesla's having a record year, they're obviously still getting cars into the country. And instead of using the ferry and the docks like they normally would, they're using trains and other methods from Germany and Poland. And so they're still getting there, but the transportation costs are higher, which of course is just going to get passed along to the buyer. So yes, the union is really only hurting the citizens of the country, not Tesla.
Worse than that, not only are they hurting the citizens of the country, they're also hurting the sympathy strike companies. One nearly went out of business because the Teslas were becoming so popular there that this guy's grandfather or father joined the union for his company, or joined with the union with his company, and then their customer base shifted to Teslas for wrecked cars, and so this body shop is now trying to repair vehicles. But if 90% of your customers are Teslas, it's hard to keep the doors open.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Well, with that, I think we'll wrap it. Casey, any shout outs for today?
Yeah. So this was the Tesla Life Express Part 1, or Edition 1. Catch us on Monday for Edition 2. And while you're here, catch me on Sunday, normally at 1:10 Eastern, but sometime this Sunday for Let's Chat with Casey and Friends. And we can enjoy some scenery. And we'll catch you on the flip side.
Very good, Patrick.
As always, I'm with the Oregon Electric Vehicle Association. You can find us at oeva.org, and I blog occasionally at carswithcords.net, where I write about my future free from fossil fuels. Thank you.
That's right.
Got it in. Thanks so much, everyone, for joining us. If you haven't already, please press that thumbs up. Press that subscribe. Help us out. Appreciate it. And we will get together next time and find out what's happening in the Tesla life.